Hello, everyone. Oh, there's an echo sound. I have to use my earphone. This is my first time using StreamYard. I hope we all enjoy. We're all learning. Hi, welcome, Dr. Michel Gagne. We are really privileged to have him with us today. First of all, I need to find out how to cancel the echo. Dr. Gagne, did you hear the echoing sound?
Yes, it's because my phone is next to me, so that's why.
Okay, I guess we have to put earphones.
So we are in space.
Have to use your phone. Okay, is that possible for us to use your phone?
Yeah, well, I can talk on the camera, but I can hear you only on my phone.
Can you hear me?
I hear you on my mobile.
Okay. Is it possible for you to put on your earphones so to reduce the echoing sound? Just try out.
How to stop the echoing sound?
No,
I put myself mute.
No, earphone. The earphone, plug it into your cell phone.
I have my cell phone here.
I know, put your earphone.
I don't have your phone.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Try to put the phone away from the mic of the camera.
Okay. Oh, I still have the echoing sound.
Yeah, I have it too.
All right, let's go forward. Even though this is the first time, we're gonna come back next time for a better StreamYard experience. This is my first time using StreamYard, and always as a mental training consultant, we always want to stay positive. So here you go, the joy under stress. So this is a real practical situation to apply joy under stress.
Yes, that's what it is. It's a real situation.
Yeah. It's a real situation. So yeah, welcome to the channel, Facebook Live and YouTube at the same time. And this is my first experience using StreamYard. Forgive me if I am not doing it that well. We always find the positivity in every stressful situation. We having technical problem. We should have tested up earlier, but we actually thought it was okay. But anyhow, Dr. Michel Gagne, I am so grateful that you are willing to share your knowledge and experience here with us. And would you want to introduce yourself to the audience? Thank you.
Okay, I'm Michel Gagne. I'm from Quebec originally, but I just came back from 30 years in Asia. So where I was based in Kuala Lumpur, and Sarah was one of the athletes I worked with in the early 90s in preparing her for the Olympic game of Barcelona at the time. And I've been there since 1990 on a permanent basis. First time in 1988 when I was a consultant in high performance at the Coaching Association of Canada. Do you have echo or are you okay? Sarah is okay?
I'm okay. And echoing sound is pardon me?
Okay. So one thing I want to put in perspective, stress is the spice of life. Without it, no life. Without it, no performance. And from the context of sports, if you are Canadian and you're listening what's going on right now, we have 2 Canadian national coach who've been suspended because athletes complain, they complained that the coaches were harassing them. Of course, when we talk harassment, we always talk about physical harassment. But the 2 girls, one is in speed skating He was one of the athletes in my club in the early 80s. And the other one is in synchronized swimming, which I work with the national team in the late 80s and early 90s in Canada. And one thing is in sport, reality of high performance, Sarah, you know it by yourself. No excuse. The only thing we demand is high performance, and that's it. If you are not ready to work to get it, get out of here. Of course, in the soft approach that Canada is becoming, this is becoming psychological harassment. You are too stressful. You're pushing me. You're too much demanding. I'm sorry. This is what it's all about. You want to be an Olympic champion. You want to be a world champion. There is only one price to pay is you have to push yourself beyond limit. And to be number one, you have to walk on everybody's head. And there's no time to take a break. Oh, sorry, you're too hard on me. Right now, athletes are becoming very soft. And now more and more, of course, in the world because of COVID, we all on the planet are facing the same stress. Are you stressed right now? Am I stressed right now? Well, me, I have a little tool here. And I'll
Oh,
show it to you
what is that?
because now I get excited. I'm talking to you. You see, 85 is my heartbeat, 86, which me is normal.
Oh.
I always usually have a high heartbeat, but the most important is the 99. 99 is the saturation of oxygen in my bloodstream. That's the most important factor. Right now, why many people are sick? It's because they have low heart rate, but no oxygen in the blood. The oxygen in the blood should always be above 95. And what I
Mhm.
would share is one of the way to enjoy stress is to be able to monitor your oxygenation of your blood cells. And right now, COVID, what it is doing, when you get COVID, we know people have lung problem and they have a tendency under stress to breathe faster. They get excited, high heartbeat. But more you respire faster, less oxygen go through your bloodstream. And
Mhm.
people have to understand this. And I will come back to this as I go on because this is one of the key factors. Many people right now say mental health is an issue. And too bad I cannot share with you some slides. Only
Next time,
10%,
next time we'll come back next time.
only 10% of the stress is mental. Only 10% of the people. 20% is emotional. It's cardiovascular. And the rest is guts. It's
Mhm.
visceral. It's in the stomach. That's why people are so sick. Where does the sickness come from? It's all in the guts. You're a martial art master and you know that we call it the Ara Center. This is where everything comes. This is where all the energy is. Under too much prolonged stress, what happens is people become sick. First, all the visceral organs are affected. It starts from the throat to the lung, to the heart,
Mhm.
to the pancreas, to the liver, to the intestine, to the colon, to the sexual organ and everything. So everything is here. And this is where all the disease and all the epidemiology problem comes from. And this is where people immune system decrease and decrease and decrease. More they are under the stress, more they are affected by it. Of course, what is the answer? Stress first is not psychological. Stress is physical. How the body react to stress is physically. But many people think it's in their head, mental health. No, it's it's not in the head, it's in the body. Of course, my mind question what's happening in my body. And we think, you have to be positive. Everybody talk to be positive. No, the stressor are there for everyone. We have to remain calm under stress. We cannot change the stress factor. Now winter is coming, it's getting cold. And now even bad news. This is the flu season. More things in my head to think negative, and that's a problem. How can I give a good performance when we are surrounded by a culture of fear? And fear naturally trigger the visceral system. To me, before we start, before competition, many athletes have butterfly in their stomach. Many athletes go to toilet, they have diarrhea. I know some athletes who vomit before. I know some athletes who have absolutely no energy. I know some athletes who get crazy in their head. They overthink. They think too much. I recently did a presentation with university lecturer. Can you imagine working 6 hours a day and your job is just talking to students? This is a stressful job. Where is the stress? It's all in the head. They create the stress. Of course, my body reacts non-specifically to anything we identify as stress. Temperature can be stressful. People can be the crowd can be my friend, my husband, my wife, my children. Anything can be stressful. But we don't understand the answer. How to manage stress, how to enjoy it is I have to calm my body. And this is what, what is resilient. Now people have to be resilient. Now it's been since March that coronavirus has been around. And now, thanks to our politicians, the only thing we got from them on a daily basis is bad news. And they are even telling us, oh, Christmas will be terrible. Are we going to confine everybody? Are we going to create a lockdown? So now more and more fear, more and more anxiety in the body, more and more chemistry, bad chemistry. And now it's getting close to 9 months being confined. And of course, you are an athlete. With athlete, we are pressuring them all the time. And when you go to the Olympic, it's always under pressure. Can we ask the crowd in the stadium, shut up, the athlete is preparing. Don't make noise. Don't disturb. The athlete is in preparation. No, it's under the most noisy environment, extreme stressful. The TV is on you. The press is after you. Your parents are watching. And this is when you perform your best performance. Under pressure is the name of the game. And people have to learn to eat stress for breakfast. But the idea is, okay, if I am under stress, how do I know? Well, me, I use an application on my mobile, and the application gave me my stress level through an algorithm. Many mobile phones today have this technology. Many have the smartwatch, same thing. You can have technology now to monitor your stress level on a daily basis. If you feel your stress level is high, how can I reduce the impact on my body? Because under stress, the human body has a tendency to react what we call the fight or flight. We have inherited from our ancestor living in the prehistoric time or whatever. In the face of danger, either you are ready to fight the danger or run away, save your life. But we live in a modern society. There is nothing dangerous around. COVID is invisible. Have you seen COVID walking the streets? But so many people are so afraid of their own family. They stay distance with each other. There's nothing wrong about distance. But stop being worrying about everything. Look at the impact of stress on you. The sympathetic nervous system is activated, which release cortisol and adrenaline. Your heartbeat increase. Cortisol release the energy, which is good for performance. But if you are on a prolonged period like we are right now with COVID, of course, people get exhausted. The body gets weak. And the problem, one of the reaction is when we are activated because of the sympathetic nervous system, our heartbeat increase, our breathing increase. When I mean breathing is most people breathe with the chest. But the real breathing should be from the belly. The rib cage, the thorax, is where the lungs are trapped. If you need more air, it has to go down in the stomach. Of course, if you remember a picture of the happy Buddha always have a big stomach. Not because he eat a lot, because he breathe a lot through his belly. And this is one thing that first thing we have to learn to manage stress is we have to inhale more air per inspiration. People breathe per minute on an average 12 to 16 times per minute. If we had time, I will do an exercise. I will say, put one hand on your chest, put the other hand on your belly.
We can do it now.
1 minute, and for 1 minute, just count how many breaths do you take in a minute. And if people are watching, I would just say, do it at home. And we'll go for about a minute. Count your breathing. Inhale, exhale, at your own rhythm. How many breaths do you take in a minute? We're getting close to the minute. Still inhale, exhale.
By the way, this stream, the after the live, it will be recorded anyway, so people can still watch it.
Yes. And we'll come to more and more things regarding this. So, of course, the idea right now, if your heartbeat is more than 6 or 8 per minute, you breathe too much. The ideal breathing should be 3 breaths a minute. And there is research done in Russia during the time of Soviet Union since the 1950s. And they were training the Soviet astronaut to go to space into reducing the breathing pattern, the rhythm, so that the astronaut breathed about 3 to 5, including the first astronaut in space, Yuri Gagarin in 1959, was practicing this breathing technique in preparation to be the first man to be sent in space. I was in Munich in 1972. I was lucky, I'm 22 years old. I have a VIP pass in Munich. I represent City of Montreal in preparation for the Olympic Games 76. So naturally, what's the benefit there? I met East German and Soviet athletes who were the top countries in the world at the Olympic during those days. You know, the Eastern Bloc was the strongest. The only country who could battle with them was the United States. The rest of the world were not winning medal. It was all East Germany or Soviet Union. Of course, we knew after that they were taking drugs and steroids. But I have learned in Munich in 72 that most of the athletes were also doing autogenic training, which for me at the time, I was a student at University of Montreal. I was studying exercise physiology, and I never heard autogenic training. What the heck is that? And all the East German athletes and Soviet athletes were practicing this. And naturally, I had a chance to discuss with these coaches down there. I'm 22 years old. I'm a university student. I'm curious like crazy. I want to know what's going on here. I never learned this in Canada. None of our athletes were doing anything like this. And when I came back from Munich, I immediately started using it with the athlete I was working in Montreal. And it became very, very quick that from 72 onward, I put my first athlete at the Montreal Olympic in high jump. And actually from there, 1980, our first athlete winning medal in Canada was Gaëtan Boucher in speed skating at Sarajevo Olympic. He was an athlete in my club in Montreal. He was originally from Quebec City. He moved to Montreal because we had the speed skating club. And in my speed skating club, naturally, the athletes were all practicing breathing technique and autogenic training, which basically learned to relax. Of course, many years after, I learned what was the impact. We have over 600 muscles, all under the control of our mind, voluntary muscle. Most people have no control of their muscles. So tension is everywhere. And the most important part under stress is the face. We never thought of relaxing the muscle of our scalp, the muscle of our forehead, our eyelids, muscle around the chin, around the nose, relaxing the lung, the tongue very heavy, the throat, relaxing the muscle of the throat. Most people have no clue. Then when they talk to themselves in their head. And when they talk in their head, the throat is always moving. The vocal cord is always moving. They don't know how to relax this part. And we know now that all this is under the control of the mind. We can control 600 muscles. So 10% of the people react mentally. They think too much. How to stop thinking? I'm going to talk a little bit later about breathing. We breathe 20 to 30,000 times a day without thinking about it. Do you think about breathing? It's automatic.
Unless
since we are born, we're born with one breath and we die with the last one. So we breathe nearly 1 trillion times during a lifetime, 20 to 30,000 times a day without thinking about it. So part of the managing stress is consciously take back control of your breathing, one breath at a time. You have 30,000 opportunity to practice every day. So you just have to, and first, you have to breathe by the nose. One magic rule, the nose is for breathing, the mouth is for eating. Most people breathe by the mouth. Many people sleep mouth open, and many people have sleeping apnea. because the tongue get and they have problem. They need a machine, a ventilator. And of course, what they do with COVID people, ventilator. The problem is the lung because people breathe automatically, unconsciously. You have to understand what is consciously breathing. It's the lung. The lung go up to the shoulder, in the chest, and where the lung can expand the most is in the stomach. By learning to push down at inhalation more air. So instead of inhaling through the chest, we should inhale through the belly. And look at any newborn baby, when you put them on their back, they play with their belly, big belly breathing. This is the natural way of breathing of a baby. But as soon as we start standing up, the breathing becomes chest breathing. And for women, it's even worse than men. And now with the culture of fitness, everybody go to the gym in this 21st century. So this is the six-pack culture. So I have a flat tummy, I'm a muscle man and a muscle woman because now women want to be as muscle men as men.
I used to have six pack too when I was an athlete.
But I call this now, it's all constipated. How can you expand your breathing when your muscles are so tight? You have to. Unfortunately, many people call it beer belly. It's not a beer belly, it's breathing belly. Breathe by the stomach. We should enjoy big stomach breather. This is healthy way. Plus, when you breathe through your stomach, through your abdomen, you massage your internal organ. You massage your intestine. You massage your stomach. You massage your pancreas, which you ease the peristaltic movement and ease digestion and ease evacuation of whatever. So many people have digestive problem because of stress. This is like a block of cement. How do you think excrement can get out when it's so tight? It has to be relaxed so that nature do its job relax. Have you ever seen an animal with six pack? Look in nature, all the animals have a belly. They breathe naturally and they don't go to the gym. But we are in a culture of fitness. And now people are frustrated during stress. Oh, I cannot go to the gym. Sit on the floor and breathe slowly by the belly. So this is very important. So people have to understand stress is a reaction of our body to specific event and emotion. And now in the world, we're all facing one, COVID. The invisible COVID. Even now, they don't even know, is it coming through aerosol or not? And aerosol, how big is a particle of aerosol? Have they ever thought about the size of aerosol? In 2003, there was SARS in Asia. I was in Asia. In Asia, they measured SARS particle in the air. SARS was airborne. Now they're not sure that COVID is airborne, but SARS was airborne. And the size of the bubble in the air was so small that the only mask that could protect you was called N95. Now, what is the size of the COVID virus? Very small. All the masks that I see people wearing, and the worst, the one handmade, because people like to make their own mask cheaper. Does it protect you from all these aerosol? The answer is, I don't think so. I'm not a medical expert, but I remember my experience of SARS in Asia. N95 was the only mask. Now it's so difficult to find a mask in pharmacy in Quebec. N95 is made specially to capture the smallest particle in the air. They won't grow through the mask. The mask will stop them. If you just use a cloth or even the two-layer mask that is easily available, you buy them in pack for a few bucks, no protection. The small particle will go through it. But I'm not a medical expert. I'm not here to give advice. I'm just here to share a little bit understanding. I was lucky enough in 1967 when I entered Montreal University.
Wow.
I had a lecturer, Professor Anseli, the founder of stress.
Oh.
Was my professor. He impressed me. He's the first one who developed the concept of the syndrome of adaptation, who scientifically demonstrated that stress was the silent killer. It was killing people without people realizing it because it operates at the visceral level, at the molecular level, at the epidemiology level, at the blood level, at the antibody level. So it's happening without us realizing it. Only when we reach the chronicle aspect, it's too late. And this is why right now many people die of what? COVID or other disease. So if you had a disease, you accumulated already a long time ago because people have not learned how to release all the bad thing about being activated, being ready to fight or flight. We have to learn to relax. What I like about my 30 years in Asia, Asian people are more calm and quiet, more peaceful. Take time. And the best are the people in the countryside. The best are the people from where you come from, Sabah, the jungle people,
Yeah,
or Sarawak,
I used to
the
be called
Kadazan, the
before
Bidayu,
jungle girl.
the Iban, the Dayak. I've been in the village of Sarawak with the Bidayu and Dayak, and these people are people of the jungle. They live with the rhythm of the forest. I come here in Quebec from the mountain of the Appalachian where we were living with the season. We live with nature. We live with my, I've been raised on a dairy cow farm. We live with the rhythm of the cow. Cow want to be milk at 4 something in the morning. Do you like to wake up at 4 in the morning? On a farm, you don't decide what time you wake up. The cow call you. And me at 5 years old, I was taking care of the egg in the poultry. Chicken lay egg before sunrise. So, Michel, what time you wake up? Before sunrise to get the egg for the breakfast. No need alarm clock. Nature wake up. If people live in Quebec or Canada, nature is everywhere. How many wake up to welcome the sunrise?
Good
And
questions.
what happened before sunrise? Many people don't know because they never wake up to witness the sunrise.
Mhm.
Before sunrise, the first thing happened, the birds in the trees start to, they wake up. And after that, what they do, they all fly in the air to welcome the first ray of the sun. And this happened 4, 5 in the morning. It's early morning that nature wake up. We human need a clock and an alarm clock.
I've never
We
used
cannot
alarm
wake
clock
up
when
because we are disconnected from nature. We are no more natural. We think that because we think we control everything, but we have lost control of ourselves. So naturally, I've learned from Dr. Anseli, and of course, he captivated me since that day. I was studying exercise physiology, and my dream was psychology. That's why I become a mental trainer, helping athletes facing stress in competition and in training to cope with it and to be able to tolerate more and more pressure, more and more stressful events. And this is what brought me in 1990 permanently to move to Asia to help Malaysia from a zero country in the world to become a well-known country now, winning Olympic medal, including gold medal for Paralympics. And you, Sarah, were an example. You were Asian champion in Taekwondo, beating the Korean on their own ground, proving everybody around. Who say that you, a Sabayan, supposed to be fat, could be Asian champion? Nobody believed in it. You remember that?
yeah, a fat younger girl from Sabah.
And you made it. Why? Because you were able to cope with all these stressors created by your own environment who didn't believe in you. And this is what I do for the last 50 years of my life, helping athletes since 1967 and business people to cope with the reality of life. Stress is the spice of life. Without spice, food will be boring. Life is the same. Without stress, life would be boring. And now I'm living with athletes who are retiring. So difficult to retire. When you live a stressful life, enjoying it, how can you go back to become a normal human being under no stress?
I
Just going shopping, grocery, lining up with everybody, keeping, your 2 meter distance. This is killing them. There is not excitement in normal life. It's difficult when you have been used to cope with stress, to live a boring life for ordinary people. And ordinary people, we live in a world that say there's too much stress in the world, too much stress. No, there's not too much stress. People have not learned to live with it, have not learned to take more. You want to improve yourself, you want to better yourself, you have to do it under stress. And this is what many people have to understand. And I will repeat, 10% of the people react to stress cognitively. They think too much. And we live in a world, we say everything is in the head, left brain, right brain, logic. 10% reaction is in the head. But now government, like here in Quebec, the last few weeks, the government of Quebec have allocated 350 million for mental health, for psychologists, for social worker, to try to solve what's happening in the head of the people. 350 million and not $1 to reopen the gyms. Not $1 to allow children to play together, because that's the next step. 20% of the people react muscularly. They get tense under stress. How to release that stress? You need to exercise. You need to stretch in the morning. Expel your chest. We need to exercise. How many of you have done your stretching this morning? Me, I wake up at 3:50 this morning because I was waiting for the opportunity to talk to you.
Okay. Good.
And I checked my stress at 4:52 this morning. My heartbeat was already 87, but my oxygen was 98, like I showed you. And I always carry my little 91 heartbeat, 99 oxygenation. Hey, I like talking to you.
Thank you.
As I'm called, I talk fast, but my body is calm, my muscle are relaxed. My breathing is slow. And I inhale by the nose. And by the way, the nose is not the big thing I have outside. The nose is everything that's inside my skull, the sinuses. Sinuses go down to here, to there, and they go up to my sinuses up there. Many people, they know, oh, I have sinuses. What they do, they take medicine. No, you have to learn to slowly inhale and let the air go up your sinuses. And there is cavity. Me, I always say the nose is like a cavern, a cave inside the skull. We have to follow the air, going up and then moving down here, and then going back in my palatum, and only then it go down to my lung, in my trachea. But most people breathe very shallow, very fast, very quick. And the worst, because we breathe fast, we exhale a lot. Most people are not aware when you inhale, the air you inhale is 21% rich in oxygen. So in the air outside, there's a lot of oxygen plus other things, nitrate, CO2, and a lot of things. There's a lot of things in the air, but the most important is 21% again. So when we inhale, even when you wear a mask, the mask doesn't block the air to go through. It blocks the particle, what is in suspension in the air, the dust. If you breathe by the nose, that's why we have air in the nose. What's the purpose of the air in the nose? It's to filter the air, plus to moisture the air. Of course, in Malaysia, 85% humidity all the time. It's always moisture. Now we're getting winter in Canada. The houses are heated, becoming dry. We need to humidify our house. It's too dry. But breathing by the nose, humidify. Plus, there is something magic in the nose. It's mostly when the air go up to your sinuses. This is a chemical factory for nitrate oxide. But if you breathe too fast, like most people, like athletes, too fast inhalation, the air doesn't go on. So the production of nitrate oxide does not exist. Nitrate oxide is a gas that when it reaches the lung, is the transfer of oxygen to the blood and the oxygen from the blood to the cell. So we should understand that inhaling slowly by the nose allows nitrate oxide, we call it NO, to go into the airflow that goes into the palatum, then my trachea, then my lungs. And then in contact with the blood, the oxygen transfer easily. And then when in the blood, it transfers easily to the cell. We are not made only of 300 bone and 600 muscle. We are 30 trillions of cells. Every cell of the body, even that little part of my skin, need oxygen. All the cells of my body need oxygen. But if there is no nitrate oxide, that's why aging of the skin, why women buy so many products, because the skin get dry. Why? Because it died. It doesn't have enough oxygen. It needs oxygen. And where the oxygen come from? From the blood, from the air we inhale. But because people inhale too fast, no nitrate oxide, no ease of absorption of the oxygen by the 30 trillion cell of my human body. We have to think breathing is not for the lung. Breathing is for me. From my hair to my skin to my bone to my digestive tract to my muscle to everything. 30 trillion cells are starving for oxygen. There is plenty in the air, 21%. But many people don't realize when we exhale, 16% of oxygen is exhaled. We only absorb 5% of the oxygen available in the inhalation. Why? Because our cells have lost the property of absorbing the oxygen because people breathe too fast. Don't breathe completely. The worst is those who only breathe by the mouth. Yes, you have air, but no nitrate oxide. No nitrate oxide. Sorry, less transfer of oxygen to your blood and less transfer of oxygen to your cells. Also, when you breathe fast, the worst when you inhale, exhale by the mouth, you exhale a lot. Many people say, oh, I'm breathless, so they want to breathe more. What they do is hyperventilation. They exhale too much CO2. Right now, we live in a climate change thing, pollution by CO2. Everybody says CO2 is bad. Now they want to eliminate all the gasoline car by 2030 or something like that by 2030. Only electric. CO2 is bad, but without CO2, we are dead. What trigger the respiration, what trigger my heart to beat is the quantity of CO2 in my blood. Oxygen, there's plenty. CO2 in the air is about 0.04%. In the air, we inhale very little CO2. We produce the CO2. Well, many people exhale too much. Result, less CO2. People are in hyperventilation mode, shallow breathing. Many people only breathe by the chest. Always lacking air. But they don't realize why they don't lack air. They lack oxygen. Their body cannot absorb the oxygen they inhale. And how to do that? Well, have to learn to inhale properly. So it's a slow inhalation. And like I said, 70% of the people react cardiovascularly. It is their heart and the cardiovascular system. 70%. But right now, where the government put the priority? Mental health. Or because the stress is too long, people get crazy. The rate of suicide increase. The rate of using drug increase. People get alcoholic. Now people get crazy. They want to meet their friend. They want to go to the bar. They want to go to disco. They want to go to the gym. They assemble illegally. And our government, of course, want to win the next election. They don't arrest anybody. So cardiovascularly is one of the biggest killer in our society. Not COVID. People are cardiovascular problem. And where do they come from? Where is the blood produced? By the bone marrow. Where is the blood reservoir inside our body? Many people don't know that we have a storage room. And they don't know that through breathing, we can pump more red blood cell. In sport, if you inject blood, they call it blood doping. We human can do natural blood doping by releasing, in France, c'est la rate. I can't remember the English name for la rate. It's a small organ. on one side, and that's where the red blood is. But through specific breathing, we can massage it and pump millions of red blood cells in our bloodstream in fraction of seconds. If you know how to breathe properly through your belly, and it is done at the exhalation. So, of course, it's all about parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system is what Anseli have demonstrated. It is the silent killer. It is good. It prepares us for fighting. It activates, salivary gland, heart pumping, lung, stomach, liver, kidneys, intestine, bladder are all activated like crazy. We become crazy. The eye get dilated. We're like a tiger. We want to eat anyone. But if you are for 9 months like this, in the long run, you kill your body. It loses its property to defend itself. Athlete, we have periodization. After high intensity training, we take a rest to allow the body to recover, to regenerate. Right now, should we give a break to people? I'm not the politician saying, well, if people are overstressed, is mental health increasing? Is anxiety increasing? Is this a sign that people need a break? I don't make the decision, but I know one thing. I'm sitting in my house in Mirabel, and I am really resting for the first time in my life after 30 years working 80 hours a week. For the last 9 months, I'm finally resting, being calm. That's why I like to control and play with my little toy and enjoying seeing my heartbeat always high, but my oxygenation always high. That's very important. My body is not young anymore. Oxygenation of my cell is the key concern. So many people eat something to stay away from the doctor. I say, no, oxygen your cells to stay away from the doctor. Oxygenation is the name of the game. So, of course, there is 3 scenarios that cause stress right now in the world. Novelty. Of course, COVID is a new stuff. Well, I was in Asia. I experienced SARS. I was blocked in Singapore during SARS. Singapore was totally locked down. Nobody on the street, nobody in hotel, nobody in restaurant, nobody in shopping. It was a lockdown. I was there. And I live in Kuala Lumpur. I want to go back to Kuala Lumpur. They say cannot. You have to go back to Canada to get authorization by Malaysian embassy. But I live in Kuala Lumpur. You want me to go back to Canada? You're crazy. But I found out that I could fly Jakarta and Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur, no lockdown. So I could not fly Kuala Lumpur through Singapore, 45 minutes flight. I had to take a flight to Jakarta, take another plane, and I landed in Kuala Lumpur. So for me are they serious about this or not? And it's the same thing with COVID right now. You cannot go anywhere on the planet. So the novelty, it's not new anymore. COVID is there for years. Coronavirus is not years. It's been years coronavirus exists. But they treat it like it's the first time. But it's the first time that they block the planet. Of course, uncertainty. Are we certain that we're gaining on it? Look at the last few days in Canada. More and more cases. Look at the US. It's crazy. So are we going to have a nice Christmas or should we put ourselves in jail? So, and this is one scenario that is dangerous because it creates a very strong stress response, a negative stress response, more and more fear. And of course, accountability. Do you feel in control of the situation? Those who have to go to work now, red zone, orange zone, yellow zone, green zone. Are you in control or not? And of course, if you want to survive this, you have to build up what I call a contingency scenario. What you're going to do to take back your control in that situation. So how you face novelty? By habits. Do you have good habits? Good eating habit, good breathing habit, good sleeping habit, good exercise habit. The problem now, the culture of going to the gym, the culture of going outside in group, the culture of playing team sports. You don't need equipment to do activities. Move the furniture in your house, put a carpet, or go and buy a yoga mat and exercise. You want to lift weight, take your grandmother and lift her over your arm. But we are pre-programmed to be a social consumer of activities. Now we are deprived, very stressful. Go back to nature. Me, I've been raised in the country. I've never been to the gym of my life, but I climb trees a lot, and I cross river, and I climb mountain, and I run like a nuts after the cow and the horses and the chicken. I run after the chicken quite a lot. So exercise in nature is everywhere. But of course, we are living in a culture of urbanization. People are trapped and confined in bird cage and building. I'm lucky I live in the countryside in a small house, surrounded by nature, surrounded by squirrel, and nature is nature. And of course, next strategy, next contingency to develop positive stress response, predictability. Right now, so much unpredictability. Predict what's going to happen. What do you mean predict? Anything. What are you going to eat tonight? Many people used to go to a restaurant. Now you can call. Even I have a friend in Malaysia. She has a restaurant, of course, near bankrupt because of COVID. But quickly she reacted and started doing home delivery. And even people in Calcutta, can you make that meal for me? She do custom made dishes for family. And they come and pick it up. So predict what you're going to eat. Predict what exercise you're going to do. Predict how long you're going to do it. Of course, stop predicting I'll be with my friends. Do you need your friend to be with yourself? Even you're surrounded by people, in your skin, you're still alone with yourself. It is time that human beings have to learn to live with themselves. Why we need so many people? Because most people are unable to live with themselves. It's like themselves is the most boring person. That's why they need so many people around. Me, I'm never alone. Me, myself, and I. I have three people, me, myself, and I. And me, myself, and I is never boring. I get excited with myself. Sometimes with other people, it's getting boring. They have nothing to talk about. Or they only talk about the news they read on the news. They never read books. They never research by themselves. They don't have friends all over the world. I'm happy that I have friends in over 150 countries. And of course, my email is busy. Asking questions, getting answer, and replying and talking to you, Sarah, and your friend. This is what it's all about. We don't need to be physically with people. We have to accept to be with ourselves. Because in the end, we came alone in this world and we're going to go back alone in this world. We come from the divine and this is where we headed. We just don't have the date of expiration yet. But we have to learn to live with ourselves. Can you imagine if you cannot live with yourself? How can you live with other people? Must be terrible for other people to live with you. You cannot even live with yourself. So we have to go back at it, predictability. And the next one is, of course, discipline. Are we disciplined enough? Uncountable. We don't control what's happening, but can you discipline yourself? I can control what time I do this, what time I do that, and how much I do this and how much I do that. And you know, as an athlete, self-discipline is the key. Athletes wake up by themselves. They don't need an alarm clock. They have to do their training, and they don't cut the corner. They do what they have to do, and it's under pressure. That's it. And you need discipline. Human race is not disciplined. That's why people break the rule right now. They say 75% of the population follow the rule of confinement. Because of 2025, we respect nothing. They continue to meet. Then coronavirus move around. If people can understand one thing, the virus doesn't have any leg and wings. It's people who bring it other places. It's people who travel with the virus. How to stop the virus to propagate? Stop moving. Stand still. 2 weeks. Can you spend 14 days with yourself alone? Most people can't. And they are not disciplined to do it. That's their problem. We live, unfortunately, in a grown up body culture, but all teenager living in grown-up body. People behave like children. Children are more disciplined. Children wear the mask without questioning, and they play with it. It's fun. They even draw a smiley face. Adults go to work and they're unhappy. Why? So hard to respect others, protect them from you throwing them, and protect yourself from them throwing at you. Is it that hard? You need discipline. People have no discipline. They need the police. They need the teacher. They need my father to punish me. They need my mother. They need, come on, give me a break. Athletes become Olympic champion because of self-discipline. They want to be champion and they accept the rule of the game. Give me a top performance. Stop complaining. Do what is required. That's it. To be number one, you have to walk on everybody's head, including your best friend. In the arena, you know, when you were fighting, my best friend, we're fighting together. Sorry, you were there to enter my arena. I'm going to kick your butt. That's what the champion is all about. No friend in the competition. Friend before, friend after. During, you're my enemy. End of the story. And in business, it's the same. Why you're in business? Or to make money? To be the best? Or just to get a paycheck? People are low achiever. People don't want a stressful life. Everybody want to be rich, but nobody want to do what is required to be. Discipline is the name of the game. So of course, one of the big problem with stress is not being in control because it elicits the high negative stress response. Control is the name of the game. Government should give more control to people, give them option. Right now, the only thing they say, vaccine, vaccine, vaccine. Is this the only option? When we're going to get it in Canada now, they say maybe by the end of 2021, we're going to vaccinate all the population of Canada. Are you telling me I'm going to wait another 14 months to feel in control of my health? Do you have a better news to give me? Because right now, this is worse. And another factor, COVID, it doesn't seem to disappear. SARS is still there, H1N1 and whatever. And stress, how it happened, it has been demonstrated since Anseli. The body reacts more strongly to expectation of mental or physical harm than the actual harm itself. Many athletes are afraid in competition more before than during. When you were fighting, you fight with a broken leg. Were you afraid before, but when you fight, were you thinking about your broken leg? Or you just fight?
Just fight.
So the fear of what can happen is worse than the thing itself. And it's the same for everyone. The fear of catching the COVID is worse than having it. Have you seen how many cases have recovered? Or how many people think if I get it, I'm going to die? They fear death instead of give it to me so that I can survive. It's the same COVID, mindset totally different. So the apprehension, the fear is worse than the thing itself. So COVID, it's just a virus. Me, I like to say it's just another flu. They gave it a funny name, and coronavirus is an old name. It go back in many years. It's been many years COVID exists. But this one, they gave it 19 because it's 2019 or whatever. And I leave the expert make the final decision. If you're in doubt, go get a test. If you are sick, if you need hospitalization, go hospital. If you need treatment, get the treatment. But as much as possible, take control of your own protection. Stay away from people. Stop moving around. And if you have the COVID, stop bringing it with you everywhere you go. Keep it to yourself. That's a place we have to be selfish. If you have COVID, keep it to yourself. Don't pass it. So, of course, under stress, sympathetic nervous system trigger cortisol and adrenaline, which is good for performance, which is good because it gives us energy. But if we are for too long period, it damage my system. It damage my biochemistry. It destroy my immune system. It make me becoming weaker and weaker. That's why people need to do like athlete. You need a break. In sport, we call it a transition period. From a high stress period, you need a break. Not everyone can go to the south even now with restriction of traveling. I would love to go back to Malaysia, 28, 32 degree all year long, best food in the world. Now I'm preparing for my first real winter in 30 years.
Wow.
But as a kid, I love winter. And I'm with my 13-year-old son. It's going to be his first winter in life. He's been living for 13 years in Malaysia. Now he's going to be experiencing winter for the first time in his whole life. He experienced before we come for Christmas a little bit. Now he's going to have from beginning to end a real winter. And he's just there and he say, I'm wrong because he'd been here in winter. So he played with snow before. Now he's going to experience the full too. So, of course, for me, breathing is not new. I learned it 1972 thanks to the East German and the Russian in Munich. Of course, since then, Montreal 76, I met other people. One of them, first sports psychologist at the Olympic Game in Montreal, Lars-Erik Unestal from Sweden, which became my friend after that. I invited him in Canada, and I went to Sweden 6 years in a row to get certified as an international counselor in mental training. So I've learned through exchange, learning a lot. And of course, I've learned most from Dr. Raymond Brezel, who was the mental trainer for the Swiss alpine ski team in the 60s. And he was using these breathing techniques that he have learned from Dr. Alfonso Caicedo, who learned it from Asia, from India. And I started using this technique with my athlete from that time until today. And I go to bed breathing. I wake up in the morning breathing, and I breathe all day long. And my nose is not only big outside, you should see inside. So, and I'm going to take a lot more. So, of course, I became a certified breathology master in 2019. And I learned from Stig Severinsen from Sweden, from Denmark, world record holder in breath holding, four-time world record holder for the deep sea diving, free diving, and world record, Guinness World Record, breath holding underwater in a tank full of shark. 20 minutes and 10 seconds without breathing, breath holding, 20 minutes and 10 seconds. And a few days ago, I was in contact with him. He's right now in Mexico, preparing to beat his own record. He wants to beat 22 minutes breath holding because he discovered, as I discovered, when you dive, you discover that we are a mammal like the dolphin and the whales, and we have a dolphin reflex. Dolphin can stay underwater more than 30 minutes. As human, we can easily stay 3, 5, 10 minutes. I work with synchronized swimmers who win Olympic gold in Barcelona in 92. Same like again where you go, Sylvie Fréchette and the Villagos sister. They were able to stay 4 minutes underwater without breathing. And when you swim in a competition, it's a 2 minute swimming. So if you can do 4 minutes, 2 minutes is nothing.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
say you need to breathe a lot. And of course, and now we are a group of 5 master instructors in the world. And now we are spreading the word more and more. Before it was a psychological warfare. I never shared what I'm sharing right now to the public. One of the secrets of the athlete I work with is being calm. How to be calm? By slowly breathing, inhale, exhale, and calm all your muscle, starting for your head because of the connection with the cranial nerve. And I'll come later. I'll talk about the vagus nerve. And of course, me, I started 1967 coaching kids who were 11 to 14 years old.
Mhm.
And we celebrated a few years ago our 50-year anniversary of knowing each other. So I'm still in contact with the athletes I was coaching in the 60s. And it has transformed their life. Many of them became lawyer, carpenters, some became doctor, and many get married, many remain like me single, and life goes on. But always looking for better, better, better. To be the best, you have to learn from the best. And that's why they're sticking. Too bad I cannot share the picture with all of you. because I have still with them. We had a great relationship. And of course, I worked with Malaysian athletes from 1988 until last year. I ended up my contract with National Sport Institute in February 2019. Was for me was the time where Nicole David, eight-time world champion in squash, I worked with her since she was 11 years old until 35 years old. So she ended up 25 years as a squash player, as a world champion. And as she retired, I said, it's time for me to quit the sports scene permanently in Malaysia. I still work with athletes on a one-to-one day basis, but no more for the Malaysian government. The Malaysian government were not allowing me to share what I can share to the public right now. Now I am my own and I can share whatever I do to anyone who wants to learn it. And of course, I do it on a one-to-one basis. I have plenty of clients in Europe, in Asia, and in Canada on a one-to-one basis. And we do it live like we do right now. I use a different platform, but the idea is we cannot see each other physically, but we can see each other through virtual. We live in 21st century. Let's use 21st century technology. So of course, it's important for people to realize to perform your best in anything you do, to enjoy the stress, you have to be mentally focused. Everything you think and all the picture in your head must be under your control, must be decided by you, not by other people. Right now, when people think of it, do you think about your own towns? Or you borrow it out of politicians or newspaper people? Or you go for the fake news on the media? Many people right now are bombarded with all kind of thoughts that don't belong to them. Reject all the crap. Make your own thoughts, your own decision. Scan your body. Emotional control. Are you aware of your bodily sensation? How do you feel in your body this morning? Do you feel good? Do you feel bad? Do you feel tense? Do you feel tight? So we have to go back to ourselves. Enjoy the pleasure of our body. When we are baby, we put our finger in our mouth, even our toes. Whatever we lie on the ground, we put in the mouth. We enjoy being in the present. We enjoy our body. We play with our body. But as we grow old, we stop playing with our body. We prefer to play with the body of others. But now with confinement, we have no right to hug each other. French Canadian, I love to hug and to kiss. Now cannot touch, cannot kiss. What does that mean? Well, I have to change my habits. And of course, we must still feel good. And we must praise the Lord. Thank God I'm alive again today. Thank you. Gratitude is important. We must bless every day as a new day. And today is only today. There is no tomorrow. There is no yesterday. The only thing that is real is today. So we have to live today with our senses, see with our eyes, hear with our ears, smell with our nose, taste with our mouth, and feel with our hands, our touch, our skin. Wherever there is skin, we have the touch feeling, changing clothes, changing fragrance, changing food, taking the time to taste the food instead of just swallowing and prepare the food, play with the food, enjoy, be alive, the emotional control, and of course, physical action. So the task at hand. Of course, many people say, I am deprived of my work because now people work from home. So it's a new way of working. I used to work in front of people. I'm a trainer. I used to work with people in front of me. Now I have to adapt 21st century and COVID time. Distancing is a reality. So I have to adjust, no choice. Physical action. I am trapped in my house. So my mobility is not the same like if I am in Malaysia. And here, no, it's -2. No need, no go swimming, no nothing. So I have to adjust reality. But we have to keep this body alive, this body active. And you know my condition with my amputation. I have lost the mobility of my two legs. I'm still waiting for a prosthesis. But I still have to remain active. I still dance on my chair. So listen to music. I love classical. I love ballet. So now I do ballet with myself. That's it. We have to live. We have to enjoy. Yes, it is stressful. We live in a stressful situation. We're confined. I'm trapped in my house. I love to travel. I cannot travel. I have 5 contracts that have been canceled overseas. I was supposed to go San Diego. I was supposed to go Guatemala. I was supposed to go Germany. All canceled, man. Thank you, COVID. You damage my pleasure. But I can travel in my head. So I look at history and about ancient site of Guatemala and everything. And I'm going to Germany in the Black Forest. I've never been, so I read everything I can, and I look on a lot of YouTube video about the Black Forest, including World War II timing. So I travel virtually. I have no choice. And of course, it's all mind and body connection. Most people live bad in their body because their mind is not connected. Their mind is somewhere, but not with their body. Your mind should be where you are. You always say you must think what you feel that you do right now. You must do what you feel that you think right now. You must feel what you think that you do right now. Nothing else. Mind, emotion, body together. It's harmony. And thank my 30 years in Asia, I met so many Buddhist monks in Thailand. And what they do for daily, they wake up in the morning very early with their bowl to get rice donation. This is their food of the day. What they do the rest of the day, stand still, meditate, relax, hoping to reach enlightenment. So peace, peace. But their mind must be in line with their heart and in line with what they do. Of course, when you stand still, what do? Breathe. The only thing you do is breathe. The task as in inhale through the nose, follow the air to your stomach, your belly, hold it for a while, then exhale. So your task at hand is, and that's what I love about these monks, they can do this for 8 hours a day without falling asleep because they are mentally connected to the emotion and the experience of the body in a standstill situation for hours. They can live by themselves for months and years. Of course, they decided to sacrifice the physical world for a more personal, internal, spiritual world. And it is their choice. Of course, I learned a lot of things from them. I had the chance to go to Soviet Union, to go to St. Petersburg to work with one doctor, Vincent Korotkov, who worked with the energy field of the body. And of course, he demonstrated, like the Hindu know for 5,000 years, we don't have one brain. We have three brains. We have what's inside the head, and the brain is not a computer. Stop making analogy to a computer. Computer have they developed because of understanding of the brain. But stop comparing the brain to a computer. Computer try to copy the brain. We should not copy the computer. And the same thing with we have a brain for the heart, the emotional brain, and we have a brain for the guts. And now more and more people are talking of this brain. Some people, since I'm back in Quebec, they talk about the second brain, the gut brain, the visceral brain. They say it in French, it's in the viscera. So what's inside the stomach? Of course, a lot of people, this is where they have problem. Gastric problem, gastrointestinal problem, digestion problem, cancer of the colon, and all these kind of things. It's all there. But how to get back in control with this? You have to master that brain. But we go to school to master that brain. The only brain that counts in our world is the cognitive brain. What about the emotional brain? Do we teach people love for all? Now we have a diversity issue in Canada, the N word and the multicultural. And of course, people talk about the lady wearing all this. And I remember the time they were talking about lady covering their face. Now everybody cover their face. We don't talk about the hijab anymore because everybody look as we live in a world that is changing and we have to adapt to change. The survival of the species are those who adapt to change. And we have to adapt to change. So of course I learned a lot of things. I can share a lot, but this is what comes later. So I'll go back to basic. Breathing is by the nose. And we have to realize left and right nostril are connected with the two part of the autonomic nervous system. Left nostril is parasympathetic. Right nostril is sympathetic. So you want energy, block your left nostril, and only inhale through the right nostril. Because not only once, you have to practice to make it an habit. You want to relax? Block the right nostril. Slowly inhale. And air must go up the sinuses. And then slowly go down. And then slowly go down. So it's slow inhalation is the key. And left and right, I'm going to share more about this. So we have to realize that the mouth itself can be involved in the breathing, but mostly for exhalation. And to get energy, very strangely, to strengthen one muscle, there is no gym training. When you go to the gym, they train bicep, tricep, quads, hamstring, whatever. Do you have a machine for training the diaphragm? This is the most important muscle. That's the muscle connected to our breathing. And unfortunately, we don't practice it. And one way of practicing it is by exhalation. We have to exhale. We have to learn to exhale. Excuse me. I have a phone problem. Okay. So we have to learn to use our lung. We have left and right lung, and both can be used. And we have to realize that where we can get more air is down, not chest. Chest is a cage. That's why we call it rib cage. The lungs are trapped in a cage. If you want to have more inhalation, you have to learn to dilate your diaphragm, and then the air can go down. So in one breath, you can inhale more air than shallow breathing by the thorax. So that's why it's very important to learn the nose breathing. And one of the best ways you can practice, like we were doing, sit on a chair watching TV and put one hand on your chest and the other one on the tummy. And focus more when you inhale, abdomen breathing. And second, then is the chest. And never take a full inhalation. When you tell people, take a deep breath. Deep breath should be about 80% of the lung. Because after that, it creates too much tension for no reason. Belly breathing, stomach breathing first, chest second, shoulder last. Exhalation should be reversed. Shoulder, chest, tummy. And you can make noise. Because when you make noise, you create pressure. And to push the air, the diaphragm has to push. So it's your gym for training your diaphragm. Okay? Inhale. Forcing the diaphragm to go up. So this way you train this muscle that normally you never train. So we have our own gym inside is inhale, exhale. So air goes in, goes up, down the sinuses, then go down to my belly, fill up my chest, and I can even pull the air up to the shoulder. The lung can go quite up. You notice here we have clavicle, there is a hole. The lung can go up there. And when we exhale, we do the reverse. Then you can make noise. Even we can make noise with the mouth. I've been to temple in India, to ashram in India, people just make the bee breathing. So they inhale slowly and then we have hundreds of people who are what they're doing, they are training their diaphragm. And as children will play this. When we were kids, we played. We become adult, we're serious. Go back to childhood. Play with your exhalation. Make sounds. To whistle, you have to play with your diaphragm. So we have to retrain something that has been passive since we are born. And we have 20 to 30,000 opportunity every day. This is how many times we breathe every day. Be conscious. 5 minutes of it, 10 minutes of it, 2 hours. You don't need to be a monk. And we are not in a monastery. You no need to sit down in the yoga position, crossing your leg like yoga. Many people cannot do this. I cannot do this. You can sit in a chair, or like right now, I'm on a sofa, as long as my back is straight. So without effortless, yeah, it's effortless inhalation, holding, and we go on. So of course, it's important to recognize the breathing mechanism is bigger than what we think. It's not the chest, it's the lung. And for the lung to expand, they have to go down into the stomach, the belly breathing. Sometimes call it the Buddhist breathing. You're in martial art. When you fight, you have the Kai. It's called Taoist breathing. As you inhale, you compress your muscles. And as you compress your muscle, you're ready to bang bang. So we have to realize one thing, sympathetic nervous system, right nostril. Parasympathetic nostril is the left one. Of course, sympathetic, activation, fight or flight. Parasympathetic, rest and digest. So you have difficulty to sleep, block your right nostril and only breathe with. And don't be afraid to use in your nose.
Blow your nose, like blowing nose, regularly.
In the Western world, we don't have the habit of nose cleansing. In Asia, many Indian, Chinese, or Muslim cleanse their nose, part of their ritual of prayer. So they do ablution. So they clean up all the sinuses and everything, and they boom, 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 make a lot of noise. But it is in their culture. Here we can buy in pharmacy small nose cleaning device. They sell in pharmacy with the saline water, so you can learn to get water through one nostril, let the water move, and get out on the other nostril. Then you do reverse, one nostril, get out on the other, to clean the airway in the sinuses. It is not yet in our culture. We have to learn to do ablution. We have to learn to clean your nose. When you take your shower, get water in your nose. Clean your nose. And of course, you make noise. Yes, clean your nose. Then you will feel fresh. When you inhale, you will really feel the air going on. You don't need medicine. Nature created water, salty water. Of course, if you like to go to pharmacy, buy the kit, they sell it. I don't have the name, but it's available. In Asia, they do call it, in India, they call it niti kriya. So it's like a cup of tea with a beak that you can put in your nostril. So you get it's warm water, and you feel the water going from one side of the nose to the other side to clean your sinuses. Many people have sinuses problem, have headache because their sinuses always blocked. Many people always have their nose always full. Of course, you can go to an otorino specialist. Always consult a physician if you have anything. Go and see for help, physical help. But if you do normal hygiene, cleanse your nose to make the air flow easy through the nose. And understand the nose is a cave. It's sinuses inside the skull. And they should be clean of mucus so that the air flow in and absorb and produce the nitrate oxide that is required to help facilitation of absorption of oxygen.
How about steaming?
So important to notice, easy to practice. One nostril, you block with your tongue, right nostril, parasympathetic. Thanks, I clean my nose now. And let the air go up and follow the air. Sometimes you can assist yourself with fragrance. I use essential oil. You put oil on your nose and you follow the fragrance. And now winter is coming in Canada. The air outside is cold. Breath, cold air. You feel the cold going up, and you will feel like a aircon system in your skull. And then if you want to activate the other nostril. So it's called alternative nostril breathing. Rest and digest, fight or flight. Very funny, the tool, the switch are in the nose because the olfactory mucosa is connected to the 12 cranial nerves. So when you enter a room at night, what is the first thing you do in a room? You open the lights. So you want to use your body either for work, using your mind, your body for activity, for cooking, for working, for training, for competing. Open the switch. How do you open the switch? Activate your nervous system. And we have to realize parasympathetic, sympathetic. So finally, we have a range of emotion from anger to, and in Asia, they talk about the Buddhist way, the middle path. What is the middle path? Is to be in control of both. I can activate or rest myself at will. How you do it? Master your breathing technique. Most people breathe too much. If you want, I'll do an exercise with you. You can follow with me. So we're going to inhale by the nose, but this time instead of inhale, exhale, and you don't block your narine. We're nostril. You can breathe with both or just one if you want. So we're going to do a 20-second breathing pattern. I'll explain first. 5 seconds. First, we always exhale. We empty the lung. Then we will inhale belly first, chest, up to about up middle chest. Then we're going to hold the lung full for 5 seconds. Then we will exhale slowly for 5 seconds. You can exhale through the mouth if you want. And at the end of the 5 seconds, you keep your lung empty for 5 seconds. So it's inhale, hold your lung, exhale, hold your lung. And we're going to do this 3 times. So are you ready? So I'm going to say exhale completely. Inhale. By the nose, slowly up to your chest, slowly, slowly. Hold your lung. You hold your lung full. Don't exhale now. You have to keep your lung full for 5 seconds. I'm going to redo it. It was a practice run. Okay, exhale now. Empty your lung. Empty, empty. Inhale. Keep your lung full for 5 seconds. Don't exhale. Keep your lung full. And now slowly exhale for 5 seconds. Now keep your lung empty for 5 seconds. And if you feel the urge to breathe, don't breathe. Just calm yourself. Relax yourself. Okay, now inhale slowly. Keep your lung full for 5 seconds. Exhale now slowly for 5 seconds. Keep your lung empty for 5 seconds. Inhale for 5 seconds. Hold your lung full for 5 seconds. Exhale slowly for 5 seconds. Keep your lung empty for 5 seconds. Inhale for 5 seconds, slowly through the nose always. Keep your lung full for 5 seconds. Exhale slowly for 5 seconds. Keep your lung empty for 5 seconds. One more time. Inhale for 5 seconds. Keep your lung full for 5 seconds. Exhale for 5 seconds. Keep your lung empty for 5 seconds. And now breathe normally. Do you feel any difference
Yeah,
in your body?
more calm. Can
What
you
do
hear?
you feel?
Can you hear me?
Some people feel sweating, feel warm, body temperature increase. Because by doing this, we're playing with alkalosis, acidosis. We play with the pH of our blood. And I hope you realize you did 3 breath patterns in 1 minute. 20 seconds, 20 seconds, 20 seconds. So you can slow down your rhythm of breathing. How many times per minute enormously just by doing this simple exercise, 5 seconds pattern. Too bad you cannot see it. I use a pattern that gives me my seconds. You can use an alarm that will tell you what to do. And the idea is less you breathe per minute, more healthy it is. I don't know how much you sleep at night. Me, I sleep very little. Sarah, I have to reconnect my phone with you in case you want to talk to me.
Yes, I can hear. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. So if you have any question,
Yeah. My question
sleeping
is,
is an issue. Yes, go ahead.
what's the difference about finding humor under stress versus finding joy under stress?
Okay, joy. Too bad I cannot show you the picture. Joy is a matter of, sometimes we use the term ecstasy. How do you feel when you're happy? What do you feel when you're in love? What do you feel when you achieve a great moment of your life? And actually, this is joy, the joy of pleasure. There is a picture that I can show you. I don't know if you know Bruni Surin, track and field athlete from Canada, winner of gold medal in '96 at the Olympic game in the 4x100 meter. There is a picture. He was the third runner in the relay. And when he passed the relay to his friend, you see him raising his arm in the air. The race is not finished. He passed the relay to his friend in front of him, but he is already victory. He already know we won. The race is not finished. He knew. You experience the joy of winning before it happened. When you won your title, when do you know you're winning? Before, during, or after? Do you enter the mat with a winning attitude, or let's see what's going to happen? Normally, you have a deja vu approach. I knew I would win today. How do you know? I don't know. I know. So it's like an ecstatic phase. And usually it's when you reach the middle path. Your body is activated, cortisol is high, adrenaline is rush, but you are calm. You're in martial art. Normally we say the sensei will fight all his students, but he's always very relaxed. And he will beat all his students. Why? Because he has mastered the middle path. He can be highly activated, but in full control of all his muscles and emotion. And that's what finally the joy of stress is. Before it happened, you already experienced it. So you are just living the experience. The event is just confirming what you already knew. You already felt it. You know how many times I work with athletes who won gold medal? When did you know you were winning? Before the start.
You can feel
felt
it. Yeah, you can feel
you
it.
feel it. It's a feeling. It's a multi-sensory feeling. It's very hard to describe. If you have never won, you don't know what we're talking about. And that's why with athlete, what we do, we have different level of competition. You have to experience the joy of winning in order to learn to master more. And you have to go stress level higher and stress level higher and higher. So you have to take more and more and more. And we go progressively. We don't go to the Olympic the first day. Most athletes spend 12 to 16 years at the Olympic before winning the first medal. And right now, there is one girl in Malaysia, Pandalena Renon, at the age of 15 in China. She won her first bronze medal at the Olympic. Now, 12 years after, she's waiting for Tokyo. No control, they delay the game. Now, her problem is she needs the pressure of competition, cannot travel, cannot compete. She used to train in China. She used to go to World Championship, European Championship. Cannot anymore. Stress is missing. Now she has to go back to the strategy of taking control, building up habits, and of course, going back to the strategy in order to get ready when they're going to say, okay, the 2020 Olympic, might not happen in 2021. It might be 2022. So the cycle of 4 years might be over forever. Of course, there is many way of training method. Yes.
Oh, that's good. Can like I'm so sorry that we have to use the phone so that you can hear me. I'm sure StreamYard is going to help me to sort this out in for our next Stream Live meeting or Stream Live talk.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead and
because there is one thing I face with people. Many people have difficulty to sleep. When they are under stress, they have insomnia. They cannot sleep. They cannot stop their mind from thinking. And the Russian have developed since the 1950, like these slowing down the rhythm pattern, the breathing pattern per minute. They have demonstrated scientifically more than 70 years ago that 3 breaths per minute bring high oxygenation more than 26 breaths per minute. And people who breathe 3 breaths per minute need only about 2 hours of sleep. Like me, I sleep about 3-4 hours because it's been more than 30 years that I breathe every day. And sleeping is a waste of time. Everybody say you should sleep 7 to 8 hours. Who say that? Those who cannot sleep. Quieting the mind is sleeping. The mind must go in alpha and theta and delta to recover. Through breathing reduction, we go in the rest and digest, parasympathetic nervous system take over. So we have training program to help people to build up new habits of breathing and to reduce the number of breathing per minute. You just did it. The 5 second, hold your breath, 5 second, hold your breath, 5 second. It was 3 breaths a minute. It's very simple. When you do it, you realize, my God, I can do it. I hope you realize a few minutes ago, we did 3 breaths a minute. Without practice. This is the first time. Without practice, 3 breaths a minute. Can you imagine when you do this every day for the next 30 years? That's what the monks in a monastery are so calm. You've been to monastery before. You walk there, you feel so peaceful. Nobody is tense, nobody is nervous, nobody is anxious. Because they breathe slowly, they inhale slowly, and most important, exhalation slowly, because the body calms when we exhale. People don't realize that when we inhale, our heartbeat increase. When we exhale, our heartbeat decrease. So if you take longer time to exhale, you will realize that your heartbeat slow down quite a lot. And of course, if you use that little device that I do, you can have a fun playing with it. It's a toy for mastering your heartbeat through breathing, connecting your breathing with your heartbeat. And to realize that when I inhale, if I inhale long, my heartbeat goes up. If I exhale long, my heartbeat goes down. So cardiovascular, 70% of people react cardiovascularly to stress. Simple training tool to take some control over your cardiovascular system. It costs only a few bucks in any pharmacy in Canada. And anywhere in the world, even on Amazon, you can order. And of course, this breathing pattern looks like nothing. That's why I conduct 3 times a week the early morning breathing session with people. And I do it on Zoom, and we do it regularly. So until it becomes an habit. The idea is how to control novelty, too much novelty in the world, too much change. You have to build up habits somewhere. And one of the habits we don't have is controlled breathing, conscious breathing. Some people call it breath work. There is more and more on the internet, people teaching different kind of breathing technique. They're not young. Some of them go back to Ramayana time, to the pranayama, 5,000-year-old Indian. Or they go back to Taoist or Buddhist breathing. So, but now we have the new science. Last year, 2019, 3 researchers got the Nobel Prize together in medicine on hypoxia. Hypoxia is the science of breath holding. I work closely with Stig Severinsen, who is preparing to beat the world record breath holding for 22 minutes. This is his target. He wants to beat his record of 20 minutes, 10 seconds, holding his breath for 22 minutes. Most people will say more than 5 minutes, you're dead. Wrong. And you want to be a living proof. We can have more control of this body than you think. And he is using himself as a laboratory of his own experiment. Of course, he's a world champion in diving, world champion under ice water, and he uses his body as a laboratory. He tests himself, and now he wants to beat his world record. But I have a nice picture of him in the tank with the shark floating under him. And of course, a lot of it right now with COVID and all the stress in life, what is stressing people mostly is fear. What kind of fear? Very funny. Fear of losing, of course. Fear of getting injured. Fear of failure. And very strangely, fear of winning. Some athletes are afraid of winning. I have worked with some Malaysian athletes, always runner-up. Why runner-up? Because if I win, people will expect me to win all the time. So they prefer to be runner-up, to be number two. Nicole David, 8-time world champion, enjoy winning. Her ecstasy when she was winning. 8-time world champion. Pleasure of winning, the joy of winning. Her coach, Liz Irving, 5-time runner-up at the world championship, never won it. So the coach of the world champion was a runner-up. This is a fear. Why are you so afraid to win? Because if I win, I will be the superstar. I will be the hero. And you're a Malaysian. Malaysian culture is being humble. If I'm the world champion, how to be humble? I'm the best in the world. Is this humble? Very difficult to cope with this. And I've noticed, I've worked with many athletes, why they don't win? They are afraid of winning. What will happen if I win? Why some athletes cheat to win? Fear of failure. I will do anything to win. Cutting corner, taking drug, cheating, injuring my opponent. We saw this in figure skating without naming the name, paying someone to stab our opponent. They will go up to there. Part of the difficulty. And of course, in Malaysia, all my time I've been there, I could do things I could not do here in Canada. In Canada, they will call it coercive psychology. You better win. We do camp. You remember, I don't know if you've done at the time, Sarah, Camp Binasamanga. We have this jungle survival camp that we do with the Commando Warfare Unit of the Prime Minister, taking athletes facing fear in the jungle at night. Malaysian jungle, scorpio, snake, tiger, and darkness like crazy. If you've never been to a jungle, you don't realize at night there is no silence. So to face fear, I did 19 camp in jungle survival. We did ocean survival with athletes. Malaysian athletes are surrounded by water, but they don't know how to swim. So we put them in the water with water above their head to cope with the fear. So you have to experience fear to cope with it, to learn to relax and stay calm under pressure. So we develop a lot of techniques to put athletes under pressure. Most people don't like to wake up in the morning. Well, we develop a monk regimen. You wake up at 4, 5 in the morning. Of course, if you're a Muslim, you wake up about 4 something, 5 o'clock for the morning prayer. Me, I've not been raised as a Muslim, but I've been raised on a farm and my job was the chicken egg. So I wake up with nature. Most of the monks in the monastery, they wake up around 4 in the morning for the prayer. Where does it come from? It comes from nature. Several old religions on this planet had the ritual of going up early for prayer. The best time to meditate is early morning. The best time to practice is early morning. But we live in a society where the clock controls the world, where agendas set by others control our life, where working hours decided by other people. We don't have the control of our life. Now COVID is good. More and more people work from home. When COVID is finished, should they go back to work or should they continue working from home? Or for many companies won't like me, I would say, let the employee alone. You pay them to work, not to be seen at work. Pay them for the work they do, not to see them sitting at the desk doing nothing. Same thing with student. People don't like many teachers, don't like distance learning. I'm sorry, that's the way of the future. My son is 13 years old. He completed his grade 8 in Malaysia from Canada, Google Classroom. And he liked Google Classroom. He is a nerd. He's been born in the age of computer. And now, of course, they're thinking in Quebec, maybe we're going to go back to this for a week or two. Go back to virtual classroom. Good or bad, this is the world of tomorrow for that generation of children. Me, I'm the old style. I like to see people face to face. But new generation are more used to technology. And why not? We have to adapt to change. We are in a world of change, and that's it. Yeah, we're experimenting a new platform this morning. Next time, we're going to do it better. And more we use, more we get better and better. And of course, I would like to show a picture. Success is happening. Olympic records are set in noisy stadium and tracks with the stress of competition in front of huge crowd. And it is the same for any kind of performance. We have to learn to be exposed to stress. Yes, it is stress for breakfast. My son go to school at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
He wake up at 7.
Okay. Do you need to like send him off for school now so we can end our live event and then we reconnect next time?
Yes. No, my son is gone already. Self-discipline. He wake up by himself. This time I didn't have to tell him 8:45 time to go. He went, he go by bus, so he left by himself.
Oh, nice.
Self-discipline.
Okay, that's good parenting.
But he only is on he eat his own medicine. So if he's late, don't blame me, blame you. It's your school. You go to school. It's your job to go to school, not mine. Of course, we set up the pattern. We set up the habits. But in the end, discipline belongs to him. I don't need a whip. He has to make his decision. If he failed, it's his failure, not mine. If he succeeds, it's his success, not mine. When you win, can anybody claim your medal for you? I love sport. Who goes on the podium? The athletes who win. The coach don't go on the podium. The manager don't go on the podium. The prime minister don't go on the podium. Sometimes the prime minister will give the medal, but don't go on the podium. The one who delivered the performance go on the podium. In the workplace, if the job is well done, who deserves the reward? The one who did the performance or the boss? The workplace is not yet paying for performance. We pay for appearance. And for civil servants, even worse, we pay for loyalty. When are we going to go into a world of pay for performance? Pay people for what they do for you, not for the time they spend to you. We don't sell our time. It's my life. I want to live my life. I don't want to spend my time attached to achieve the goal of somebody else. We are on earth to achieve our own goal, our own life. And we have to give freedom to people. The slavery of the modern era is over. It's time we free people. And now we are lucky, thanks to COVID. Is COVID bad? Yes, the COVID is so good. We're learning to work differently. People are learning, I can do my job from home. Should I go back to my office tomorrow morning? It's been 6 months I work from home and I got my paycheck. Why should I go back to my office? Can I stay home? Teacher teach from virtual. They can teach from their house. Should teacher go to school? Oh, because this is the union negotiated with the school board. The teacher must be in the class for 10 years. This is the old way. We have to evolve with the time. And me, I say, COVID is great. The joy of stress. Thank you, COVID. You force us to change. You force us to adapt. You force us to enjoy it. But instead of complaining in our head, we should control what's happening in our body and realize whatever happened, I don't control the stressor, but I can rebalance the impact on my body. I can move out of a sympathetic, dangerous path and go back in the rest and digest relax my body, calm my body. And the easiest way, breathing by the nose. 20, 30,000 times a day you can practice. And you don't need to do alternative if you want. Both nostril if you want. And exhaling, you can exhale by the mouth. Make sound. Play like the children. If you have baby at home, do like them. You just have to do this to baby. And the kids will do the same as you. And it is your breathing practice. Practice with your kids. It will strengthen your diaphragm. And then you will use your lung more. So if you get COVID at the hospital, they won't have to put you in the ventilator. Why? Because you have a muscle that works. I might have COVID, but I can still inhale by myself. You don't need to put a machine to make me breathe artificially. My muscle is under my control. It's mind control, body-mind connection. We have the power to do this. And that's the joy of stress. Stress is not bad. If you stay too long without rebalancing its impact on your body, yes, it's going to kill you. Dr. Anselier proves it. Time to take a break. Everybody know why right now mental health is an issue, because people need a break. People need to move, need to be away from the stress. Stop giving bad news on the media. Social media, give good news to people. Good news don't sell. We are buyer, we are consumer of bad news. We consume every day. How many dead today in Quebec? How many dead in Ontario? How many new cases in the US? How many new cases in Italy? This is what we consume every day. Worry, 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 anxiety, uncontrollable, novelty, non-predictable. This is no good. I don't want to know that we are compared with France. Why should I know? I don't give a damn. And those who die, they die because they have to die. You know, I'm in nature. This is the fall season. All the trees are lose their leaves. Are we worrying? Should we protect the trees? Should we cover the trees to prevent the cold? Should we have eating around the trees? But we know that after fall season, follow winter. Many trees won't survive the winter. Many animals will live in the trees. I'm surrounded by squirrels. Many squirrels won't survive the winter. But we know that when spring comes, what will happen? Nature is always the winner. The strong will survive, the weak will die. That's it. Yeah, I look at COVID as if it has not man-made virus, it's an act of nature. And we have to accept it as an act of nature. Maybe it's the fall season in human history, like the plague was at a certain time, like H1N1 was, like influenza at the beginning of the 19th century. Nature is nature. We have to accept nature. It's time we reconnect with nature. Let's stop disconnecting. And CO2 is not bad. Without CO2, no oxygen absorption. CO2 in the blood is what eases the oxygen to go into the cell. And it is assisted by nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is produced by the sinus, by the nose breathing slowly. So next time you breathe slowly, why? Nitrate oxide. Why? Because I want it to go into my blood. I want nitrate oxide to help my cell to absorb the oxygen. My oxygen will always be alive. My skin will be refreshed. People who practice nose breathing normally have skin like babies without taking all these cosmetic, because their cells are alive. They move, they produce. And that's what it's all about. Of course, there is more. This is just a small opening. We have 60 different breathing techniques for different purpose. We even have breathing technique for asthmatic. After 5 days, many asthmatic won't have to use the pump anymore. Of course, doctors and pharmacy don't like us very much when we say this. They make money selling the pump. Pump is a dilator of lung. But if you learn how to use your lung, if you know how to use your diaphragm, you will slowly expand your lung and go deep in the alveolar area of your lungs. So then you don't need the pump to dilate your lung. You'll be able to do it yourself through your diaphragm. Diaphragm is a muscle. It's like a pump. Why they put people in ventilator? What is a ventilator? It's a pump. It pumps air in and out because you cannot do it by yourself. The disease makes you weak. That's why they put people on a ventilator, because you cannot ventilate yourself. And what we teach is ventilation. And in martial art, martial art, each time you punch, you have a kick. Why? It had power. It had pressure of the lung. The pressure of the air that is released is added. That's the chi energy that moves through your body. It starts from your belly to your visceral, and then it is extended to your arm or your feet when you kick. That's where the energy comes from. And of course, it's followed by sound. Why it is, many people say, oh, martial art is so noisy, they always make noise. You don't understand. It's part of the energy, it's part of the power.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's all connected with breathing. And of course, martial art athletes are amongst the best. And I also work with shooting people. Many people, shooting is an anti-sport. Other sport, the shooting enemy is adrenaline. Sympathetic nervous system is the danger for shooter. Shooter must be like nearly asleep, totally relaxed, low heartbeat, very heavy on the ground. Even they wear clothes very heavy to feel the heaviness. So it's total rest and digest. And when we did the breath holding, the record in all the athletes in Malaysia was Alex Azahari, a pistol shooter, nearly 4 minutes holding your breath underwater without practice. But she's a shooter. And when you shoot holding your breath. So you exhale, then you aim and you shoot. You have about 7 seconds breath holding, shooting. And of course, years of practicing shooting, she become a master in breath holding. Of course, she sleep like a baby at night, even before a major championship. But she realized that her sport has helped her to develop breathing control. Because we have a breathing pattern in shooting. 3 breathing, then exhale for 7 seconds, hold your breath, shoot. Breathe normally, come back to breathing pattern. So breathing is controlled in many sports. In most of the sport, exhalation is catabolization. To exhale is to exhale. You burn energy when you exhale.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's important to realize you don't lift weight inhaling. You don't lift weight inhaling. You lift weight exhaling. That's catabolization. So it's all controlled. Breathing is the center. I breathe, so I am. What is it to be a human is to breathe. And the human, what is a human? Is the reverse of a tree. A tree absorbs CO2 and produce oxygen. We absorb oxygen and we produce CO2. We are the lung. If you take the lung out of the body, it looks like a tree. It's full of branch and alveoli. It's like a tree. So what is a human being is the opposite of a tree. We absorb oxygen and produce CO2. Tree absorb the CO2 and produce oxygen. Of course, our technology has produced too much CO2 and we cut too much forest. The problem of climate change, stop cutting trees, replant forests. We're lucky in Canada, we have one of the biggest natural forests in the world. We take care of it. We manage our forests. We know what they're doing to Amazonia. You come from Malaysia, you know what they've done to Sarawak. They've cut the forest everywhere. Sabah, there is no forest anymore to cut. Forest is the lung of the planet. It's time we reconnect to nature. We don't need technology. We need nature. We are part of nature. It's time human beings stop disconnecting themselves from nature. Everybody talk about God, God, God. Where is God? God is nature. It's perfect. Let's reconnect to God. Let's reconnect to nature. There's a divine in us. We are a body of energy. We are not bones and muscle. We are 30 trillion cells who need oxygen every second. So when we inhale, we feed 30 trillion cells, not only our lungs. We feed our cells, our skin, our nails. We feed everything. But our mind is not there. We think, oh, we're smart, I'm intelligent. Oh, I have a degree. We're a social animal. We're no more an animal. It's okay. but it's time we reconnect. Me, I say COVID is great. We all face the same stressor. Maybe we should face the same reality. It's time for planet Earth to rest and digest. Too much adrenaline, too much cortisol. It's time to relax. Relax first. Oh, mind, stop thinking too much. Control your emotion. Transform your fear and anger by love. Love of what? Love of everything. Love of being alive. Love of the food you eat. Love of the friend. Love of your neighbor. Love of being on this planet. Thank God it's a blessing. I'm alive. You know, when I read, 1,000 people dead yesterday, thank God I'm not one of them. That's what it is to be a champion. There's only one champion. Thank God it's me. I'm not part of the rest. Mess with the best and fail with the rest. So everyone can be a champion in life. First, take back control of the impact of stress on your body. Do not be negatively affected by what's happening. It's happening, and it's more than just being positive. It's live in the present. Positive is a thinking. Stress is not thinking. Stress is in the body. Release the stress in your body. Reduce your heartbeat. Reduce your body temperature. Oxygen your cells. Produce nitrate oxide. Feed your body. Eat properly. What kind of food? Natural food. Go back to nature. When you eat food, you eat nature. That's it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gagne. You are such a good public speaker, and you handle it really well. And you actually, have so much to offer and so much to share, and you talk nonstop. It's really good. I don't think I can do it. Well, I have to think positive. I can do it. I keep the practice. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. I don't want to take a lot of your time, and I like to say to everyone that is out there, we have this recording. If you watch the recording, thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for watching. If you really like Dr. Gagne to share more of his knowledge and experience, do leave us a message below. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you so much. Bye now. Have a good day and have a good weekday and week.
Still good. 96%, 84 heartbeat. My oxygenation is still good. So for me, this was very good stress this morning. I enjoy it.
Yeah, stress is good for us. Positive stress, and
Yes.
and I really like the way you said that. After competition, right? After athlete retire from competition, and they try to be quote unquote normal, they don't feel that normal anymore because, as you said, they are so used to this kind of stress moment, and they feel joy. I like that, but they feel joy under stress. When they do not have that stress, when they retire and back to normal, they do not have that kind of stresses anymore. Then they actually tend to feel depressed or not happy. Therefore, I really feel that way. Actually, it happened to me.
The joy of stress is missing. You need stress to be happy.
Yeah, people say, Sarah, you have so much energy. You have done this, you are doing that. How did I find that energy? Or sometimes they say, oh, you are so ambitious. It's not that. It's not that. I try to be normal. I try to be, follow the general population, and I ended up feeling sort of maybe depressed. I wouldn't say it's really depressed. Like I feel that I do not have the energy. I feel that I need the stress in order to feel like, oh, I love it. When I have the positive stress, it actually pushes me to work better. Yeah, that's what I want to share. Thank you
Very
so
good
much.
sharing. Thanks for sharing it. And you could discuss with many other athletes. I work with Nicole David, 25 years, training 6 days a week, twice a day, 50 weeks a year for 25 years. The last 2 years before retiring was very difficult. Try to figure out, should I go back home in Malaysia? She was living in Amsterdam. Now she retired, and now she lives in Guatemala, in Colombia. People say, why Colombia? Because Malaysia is too small for me. She spent 25 years in a 5-star hotel lifestyle, traveling on the plane, waiting in executive lounge. How can you go back to normal life after that? Very difficult unless you're a multi-billionaire, millionaire. So living the life of the famous, very difficult to go back to normal life.
Yeah, it is. I can feel it. It's actually very difficult for high performance athlete to go back to normal life after retirement. Even though when you were a competitive athlete, you actually admire the normal lifestyle. You actually admire them very much. You said, oh, after I retire, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Yes, maybe that's, I call it a break from competition. But after retirement, you have to really do all this normal thing without going back to highly stressful training competition. After a while, you actually feel bored. I feel bored after living in a like a quote unquote normal life. I feel bored. That's why I was trying to do many things when I work at when I'm working at the workplace. I try to do more, right? I try to like give more, try to show initiative. But it doesn't work that way. At the workplace, people feel that if you work too hard and work too much, you make them look bad, right? So they may feel that you don't have teamwork. They may feel that you don't have teamwork. So I feel that if you're an athlete and competitive athlete and you wanted to retire, you have to really think ahead of time and plan your career ahead of time. What do you want to do? So my advice is, just from my personal experience, my advice is you were born differently because God put you into a situation, a position where you actually can use your talent and skill to excel in sports, for your country, for your family. But after you retire, you can still use that kind of talent to do many other things. That's why I started my YouTube channel. That's why I started writing books. I actually completed one book. That's why I'm actually launching my podcast. Not because I want to, people say showing off. Wow, why you want to show off? It's not about that. It's about giving, doing your best. Giving your best to the world. If you are born differently, you need to give the best to the world to help other people because you are different. It's okay to be different. It's actually, you find joy to be different, and the different that make you special, that make you have the leadership to actually spread it out and help others. That's my sharing for today. Thank you.
Just to be a leader of the pack.
Yeah, yeah. It's not easy, especially when you were a high performance athlete, especially if you were like a world champion, especially like Olympic champion after retired. Many people may not know you anymore because you were not on the press or you were not on the news regularly anymore, and the younger generation may not even know you unless they read about you. So it's not easy to take that kind of feeling where you were like, oh, champion, and now you're like normal, right? So it takes a while to adapt. It takes a while to adapt. You can do many things after that. People, we do have success story. I've read many success athletes after they retire, they became very, very successful business men or women, or men or women, and very successful coaches and very successful entrepreneurs and so on. So yeah, we just need to bring our other side of skill, other side of talent to different part of the world. I mean, different part of community or different part of industry. That's all. Thank you so much.
Very good.
Bye now. Talk to you.
Bye. Enjoy. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, I'm trying to
See
end.
you next time.
See you next time. You're gonna share your PowerPoint next time, okay?
Okay.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.